Hey there, it's IOTA, and I played this game. This is my late game raft design. And we see here as the sun's going down in the evening, and this is my ginormous late game raft. It's day 515, so I've spent a fair bit of time making this thing pretty optimized as an adventuring, touring, island hopping resource stripper. So let me take you down here and show you some of the features that I think make this a pretty workable, pretty enjoyable design to play. We start here at the bridge. Obviously, the command center. Gotta have the guidance systems. Gotta have my steering wheel, and then out here I've got my sail, and beneath that, the anchor. All right nicely smack dab in the middle of the boat. Now the main feature that I have here is a 27 wide series of collection nets. And this is the first thing that I worked on to build up for the raft. This manages to sweep the entire debris field even if it's moving on an angle. And I basically keep the raft oriented the same way. But I really haven't lacked for plastic, rope, or planks, with really the only difficult feature being planks. That's obviously the shortest supply, because literally everything you see around is made of planks or burns planks. So you'll find yourself throwing a lot of plastic and rope over the side, but 27 wide collection nets does a pretty good job of sweeping the ocean clear. Got my zip lines here that I use to travel fairly quickly from one side of the raft to the other, and right into my main storage area. Check out all that titanium. I mean, I even have almost a full thing of freaking wool, mostly because I got so many llamas. One of the first things you can see here as we stand at the bow and look back is the tower, painted red and white like a classic lighthouse. It really helps to have something that is tall and visually striking. You'll notice I painted it red and green for port and starboard just to help me keep it all straight. The one reason why this doesn't get built up more is, you gotta have visibility. And you can build things super tall, but then it's really hard to see where you're going, and it's nice to have a pretty free and clear field of view at the front and then build up a little taller at the back here. So, if we come over here, this is my cookhouse. I got my, there's my sign there. Drink. Have my water supply right here. I'll show you the water supply again in a minute. But this is my cooking station. I have 2 cooking pots. And the key here is, if I come in and I pull out some shark dinners, throw them out over here in my thing. If I'm standing here in the middle and I come over, I can load up 2 cooking stations from the middle here. And it makes it really easy to batch cook fairly quickly. Double at a time. And I mean, when you're doing things like the fruit compote, it takes a long time to throw them all down. But, I've got my stuff for head broth, for roast chicken of various kinds. It's coconut chicken and drumstick with jam. Two cooking pots is super efficient. And then most of the time, I'm actually eating just roast meat or roast chicken that I throw onto the grills every now and then. Another awesome feature that I've figured out as a way to protect my beehives. What you'll find is when you've got a whole bunch of crops planted, the seagulls will almost always prefer to go after the flowers. And because flower seeds take a long time to collect, I mean, you end up with a whole bunch of them if you work at it, but they take a while to collect because picking a flower, it only gives you a seed like a quarter or a third of the time. So you want to keep them somewhat protected, and as much as you can, incentivize the seagulls to go after something that's a little easier to shoot with the bow. So in my honey house, I've got my hives sitting on a shelf, which means I can come across fairly quickly and pick up the honey. And then underneath, I have a whole pile of flowers, and around the walls, I have a whole pile of flowers. So I have one enclosed space that's got, 10 hives, 9 hives, and then I got another enclosed space off it that has another set of enclosed hives. And this is way more honey than I can possibly use, because I've almost fully stocked myself up on biofuel anyway, and that's pretty much all it's used for. As a storage tip, the only place you need glass is to go with honey, so have your honeycomb and your glass together, and it's super efficient. Also have my smeltery, have a bunch of smelters. Again, not because you need to have huge production, but more because you only want to come in here so often and really load it up when you're in there. So that's not really a cool design feature. One of the coolest design features, I should do this during the day, but one of the coolest design features that I really like is this farmyard. Because there's an enormous number of crop plots here. It's got to be over 100 if I actually, calculated it all out. But the key here is that the pipes run underneath. So I built this huge platform. Took a while to juggle it all around because I didn't have this at first. But now that I've got this plot, all the pipes run underneath. Because I discovered that the animals don't like to walk over the pipes. So if you lay all of the sprinklers out in the open and the pipe just lays on the ground, they'll stand there starving trying to reach a plot of grass on the other side of the pipe. So instead, running the pipes underneath, putting everything up onto raised platforms, and then raising up the sprinklers another level, means that the cluckers and goats and that, they can walk underneath, they eat the grass underneath the sprinklers no problem, so they have full access to all of the crop plots. The spray reaches just fine when they're one level up. It doesn't seem to work as well when they're 2 levels up though. So you can only go so far with this. But it made a huge difference to have all the animals, so many crop plots, and that is very easy to maintain, because I come in here and every now and then I pick up a battery, come over to my handy dandy battery charging station where I can pick up another one. But with so many crop plots, it means that a lot of times the rain will regenerate a ton of the crops, and the animals basically never starve. I almost never harvest them anymore because I have an entire bin full of milk, full of wool. But it's really nice to know that the animals are happy and they just keep going on their own. You'll notice I have an eat your heart out amount of special animals. No mods, no cheats, no advantages, just cruising over a buttload of islands. And so I got like 4 of the striped llamas, 4 of the two-tone llamas, couple of the white goats, 4 I think of the two-tone goats, and I've got 4 of the black and white cluckers. Now I had just one pink clucker, and at some point the damn thing managed to glitch out and get washed away. And after that I replaced all of the fencing, except for a couple of sections here. I've replaced all the fencing around the pipes with walls, and that seems to have prevented it. But I actually caught one of the black and white cluckers drifting through the foundation tiles. And so my one pink clucker that I called Pikachu ended up disappearing. So I've spent hundreds of days looking, and that's the only pink clucker I've found. So he was the one that managed to wash away. Hooray. Since we're here in the dark, I might as well show you one of the cool features, or maybe I guess it's a tip, for when you have a large field with lots of animals. The eggs glow in the dark. So it really helps when you've got nighttime. Come around and pick up all the eggs. They glow, they kind of jump out, and it makes it way easier to pick them up than it does during the daytime. But that is most of the cool features here. The other thing I would point out, when you're growing for biofuel, only grow potatoes. So if we come here and we do a whole bunch of harvesting for potatoes, you know, pick a whole bunch. So if you keep it set on, like in this case, I've got it on hotkey 9, I can harvest the potato and plant the potato right away. Got my sprinkler going. But what I want to show you is what you do with them. Because at some point you stop baking potatoes because you got too many other better things to eat, and potatoes are just, you know, I guess boring. But when we come here, obviously when we do biofuel, we can add the potatoes here, right? Load up all the potatoes. Oh no! Have to put my potatoes onto the hotbar. But wait, if we don't put the potatoes onto the hotbar, we can still place potatoes. And so slap a whole bunch in here, and you'll notice almost no potatoes left. So if you grow potatoes, you don't have to do a whole bunch of juggling. You can just dump them all into the biofuel containers. And helpfully enough, it works the same thing with the honey. You can do it normally with it in the hotbar, but if it's just in the regular inventory, you can still add it as you go. And amazingly enough, it's the same thing for the biofuel itself. So if we come over here to my other biofuel tank, and we put those up into the regular inventory, we've still placed our biofuel. So don't grow radishes, they don't work. Don't grow pineapples or melons because they don't work that way. The only thing that works that way is the potatoes. Oh. Damn it. Now just to show you how long this whole system has taken, we're on day 515. So I've been to so many islands, I literally have 3 sets of paintings. So that, you know, artistic art achievement where you got to have 8 of the paintings, well, it doesn't take very long beyond that where all of a sudden you've got 3 sets of the paintings. Same thing with the tiki poles. I got 5 full tiki poles and a few more on the go. So big thing is you'll find lots of stuff as you drift around the islands. By the time I do my maintenance stuff, I'm at the next island and I got to get out and check for treasure and loot. And yet, I still haven't found the plain island. 515 days, and I have been to so many islands, just to prove to you how many islands I've been to. You've seen all of my pump stations and battery chargers and all this stuff that uses titanium. Well, I have so much titanium, I hope that the next update gives me something to do with it. I know, and you're thinking, that's like, what is that? That's like 242 titanium. What? That is a lot of titanium. Oh, but wait, there's more. This means I've got, what, 340 titanium. It's not too hard to find stuff. You just gotta stick with it and chew from island to island. Don't get too hung up with stripping every resource. There's another island just over the horizon. So, this has been IOTA's late game raft. Some 10 or so tips and efficiencies and bits that I've experimented with that are working well for me. And yeah, I'm IOTA, and I played this game. Hope you play one too.